All right, board gaming enthusiasts, we've got a little bit of mailbag here, and an interesting question that as you become more involved in the board gaming hobby, or I should say lifestyle, this is a question you will ask yourself or be confronted with. I was asked, Fritz, do you allow drinks? Age-themed, appropriately, of course. Do you allow drinks at the gaming table? What's your kind of thought on that? And drinks are kind of interesting because they take that escalation up a little bit. It's one thing to have some food and some snacks, which, depending on the food and snacks, we don't have to worry too bad. I mean, okay. But drinks have the potential for being catastrophic, spilling over the game, and what the heck do we do from that perspective? Now, I think there's a couple of sliding factors. First of all, the question I ask, and I would ask this question to you also, are you hosting the game? Or are you joining in a game that someone else is running? If someone else is running a game, I always take all my cues from them. Do they allow drinks? Do they allow food? If not, that's okay. If it looks like it's a rare title or an older title or one that has a lot of customization, maybe I won't drink something at the table. I totally take my cues and I respect how someone wants to run their game. But on the opposite side, I think what we're trying to balance out here, and there's no 100% definitive question, we're trying to step outside of space and time. I'm sitting down with some friends. We're playing some Zombicide Invader. We're going to roll some dice. We're going to have some fun. I want to create a memorable moment. So if we can have some drinks, if we can have some fun and bring that in and maybe some background music, the more the better. I want to have a good time. Board games are a vehicle, a social vehicle for that, or even solo. Because look, you can play solo, bring a drink to the table, knock it down yourself. We're trying to, at least you bear the full brunt of responsibility, but we're trying to have this experience. So I won't say necessarily no. I mean, if it's a really, really long game, sometimes you don't want to take a food break or a snack break or backyard barbecue break. We have done that over the summer because we want to keep the game going. We want to keep the flow going. But on the other hand, I do recognize that things can get a little crazy. Accidents happen. So when I play a game, I try to be mindful of my audience and the type of game. And maybe this is overkill. Some games I do have sleeved. They tend to be more card-type games. But there are 2 titles in my collection that I have exact copies of, and all the expansions. Talk about being a crazy completionist. Zombicide Black Plague. And that I have 1 copy that's base, unpainted, 1 copy that is base, completely painted to a tabletop standard. I also have Pathfinder the Adventure card game, the first series, Rune Lords, 2 copies. I haven't sleeved those games. That's a little bit, a lot from that perspective, although I know a lot of enthusiasts do. These 2 titles, I get a lot of play out of them. At the gaming group, with the gaming club, with my friends. We play them regularly. So right away, just the wear and tear that they're going to hit up and they're going to get by playing. I mean, Zombicide Black Plague has been dropped on the floor, cards lost, and then they show up like a month or 2 later at my buddy's place because it fell into his bag. We had a dog steal some miniatures. I mean, all sorts of crazy stuff. It's been through the ringer. It has the battle scars, the battle wounds to prove it. So from that perspective, it's a game that's going to get heavy play and a game that I'm going to introduce to a social group and to play. Because one of my rules is everyone has a place at my table. Everyone sits down and plays. You want to play, and the game says 5 players, and we've got 5. That's okay. We'll house rule it. We'll figure it out. Sit down, roll some dice, have some fun. It's a chance to make new friends. I want to put that ahead of any other titles or considerations. So I'm willing to have a beat-up copy. I'm willing to take that loss on the games that are really, really well played and regularly played. Then there's a second tier of games. Dark Souls. I love it. I only have 1 copy. To try and do 2 copies would be crazy given the crazy pricing of it. But from that perspective, yeah, we can eat it and drink at the table. We'll do what we can do and hopefully keep accidents down. Now, if we were compact at the gaming store and there's literally no room and everyone's throwing all elbows all the time, that's a little different. If I had a dedicated gaming table that had built-in cup holders on the sideboards, then, that's vastly different. So I think it is case by case, but I tend to allow it, and I'm willing to accept those consequences of my decisions, but I absolutely respect other players and their title and their time. You're hosting. You've included me on the game. Wonderful. I'm going to follow your rules. That said, there are a few titles in my collection that when they do see the light of day, they're just too valuable. They're just too rare. No food and drink. Perfect example, Magic Realm. Took me forever. Took me a quest, a lifetime to obtain this amazing game. And I'm writing down a note right now. We got to talk some more Magic Realm. So from that perspective, with Magic Realm, I don't want anything to happen to it. It's an original copy. It's in great shape. I want to maintain that. I want to keep that. So that when that comes out and we do that with a group, that's under very strict confidence and very strict rules. And it does go against my nature, but I got to do what I got to do. So turning it around to you, not just food, but drink, because drink is the great ender of board games. From that perspective, and I guess I should ask, what's the worst disaster you've ever seen with it? Although that could be very traumatic for some of us. But do you allow it? Do you think it's okay? Or are you absolutely draconian? Full respect, man. No drink, no food, premium tokens, everything double sleeved, everything laminated. I mean, I'm cool with that. And I have a couple of titles in my collection that, for me personally, the narrative is so valuable and I love them. They have such a history. I get it. I get it. I understand it.